Women in Aviation Conference encourages females to rise above fears. Army Chief General Paul Nang directs the SSPDF to protect the country's territorial integrity. And 45 leprosy patients receive medical and humanitarian aid in Juba. Good afternoon and welcome to SSBC 1 p.m. News. I am Akuch Makir and we begin our news with the Vice President for the Economic Cluster, Dr. Benjamin Bolmel, reaffirming South Sudan's commitment to collaborative efforts aimed at fostering regional peace and security towards bolstering regional social-economic growth. Vice President Dr. Mel met the commitment in a meeting with the Norwegian Special Envoy to the Horn of Africa, Adria Stansian, which focused on reviewing the progress in the implementation of peace agreement. Their discussions also explore possibilities of addressing the ongoing army conflict in Sudan, which triggered severe regional humanitarian crisis amidst limited resources. Ambassador Stansian emphasized the need to promote stability to foster economic transformation in the country.
We discussed issues relating to the developments, very disturbing developments in Sudan. We discussed Abyei, and then we also discussed in depth the challenges confronting South Sudan now, relating to political situation, relating to security, and relating to economy. We got into quite a long discussion, and I appreciate that very much. And we will continue to work with the government of South Sudan.
Reverting your attention to humanitarian situation, Bor Parliamentary Caucus, led by Deng Dao Deng, has raised grave humanitarian concerns about the floods destroy homes and key infrastructure in Jonglei State, needing government intervention. Briefing the Vice President for the Service Cluster, Josephine Joseph Lagu, on the impact of flooding, Deng stressed that the floods left education and health facilities in ruin, appealing for education authorities and partners to rehabilitate schools across Bor, Twitch East, and Duke counties. According to Vice President's Deputy Press Secretary, Alfred Angasi, Josephine pledges to take a switch action to rehabilitate schools.
Water now are receding, beginning to recede, and the waterborne diseases are going to be the major one facing communities that were living in the flooded area. And we are worried that the facilities that are currently in the counties need some more support, and particularly the medicine that can be able to respond to some of these diseases that are rampant in the area.
Her Excellency, the Vice President and Chair of Service Delivery Cluster, interacted with members of the Parliamentary Caucus representing Bor, and the two members briefed the Vice President about the recent flood in Bor. Although it is said flood has receded in some of the areas in Bor, the local communities or people around are still feeling the effect of the aftermath of flood. And this is seen basically in schools. There are a number of primary schools that are destroyed during the flood. And in fact, Her Excellency said she will address this with them.
The Jikan Youth Union is appealing to the government to back them in completing the construction of the Jikan Youth Union building in Juba to enable them meaningfully contribute to promoting of peace building. A delegation from the Eastern Jikan County Youth Union in Juba met the appeal in a meeting with the Vice President for the Infrastructure, Taban Dengai, on Wednesday. The meeting addressed issues concerning security in Jikan County and its neighbors. The chairperson of the union, Dak Kang, stresses the importance of constructing the facility in fostering youth engagements. In response, Guy encourages the youth to promote unity and work together with other communities to end the tribalism.
Which comprise of 4 counties of Nuer who are living Naf Nile State, namely Nasser, Mayut, Ulang, and Longshuk. Today we have come and meet with His Excellency, the Vice President, Taban Dengai. We narrate for him the two agenda. Number one, how we can support the leadership of Eastern Jikeng, especially the ongoing construction of Youth Empowerment Center. And another agenda is how we can help a peace conference here in Juba that can bring all four counties.
The Speaker of Parliament, German Nukumba, commends the Doctors Without Borders, MSF, for continuously rendering medical services and saving the lives of communities in conflict-affected areas. In a separate news, Speaker Nunu and the Fund Mobilization Committee for Northern Bahr Ghazal State discussed preparations for a community conference on peace, climate change, and development. SSBC's Bakita Kundit has the details.
In a crucial step towards improving health and combating health emergencies in the country, the Speaker of the Transitional National Legislative Assembly, Germanu Nukumba, convened with a delegation from Medicine Sans Frontiers, MSF, led by the head of mission, Dr. Sigrid Lambach, to discuss MSF's ongoing activities in the country. Discussion also centered on deepening collaboration between the Parliament and the Doctors Without Borders towards enhancing medical services, particularly in areas affected by conflict. Speaking to the media after the meeting, Speaker's Press Secretary Adudaik explained the outcome of the meeting.
They further discussed the activities MSF is undertaking in the country, in particular within the areas of health, water and sanitation hygiene. The Right Honourable Speaker highlighted the TNLA's commitment to collaboration through the host country agreement, which was established in 2023, and she also noted Parliament's constitution of a WASH caucus, which she encourages our partners to engage with alongside relevant committees to continue the spirit of cooperation.
Dr. Sigrid Lambach of MSF reaffirmed her organization's commitment to supporting South Sudan's health sector through enhancing health emergency response.
We also assured the commitment of MSF to the people of South Sudan. Also in 2026, we know there are huge concerns in terms of budget cut. MSF is not confronted for this budget cut, so we continue our operation as it was planned. But nevertheless, for certain, we can also not compensate all the needs that other organizations left behind. We also urged on the necessity to have more investment in WASH infrastructure.
Separately, Speaker Nunu and the Fund Mobilization Committee from Northern Bahr Ghazal State discussed preparations for a community conference on peace, climate change, and development.
The purpose of the conference is to discuss peace and security both domestically and regionally, as well as the effects of climate change, which is affecting the majority of the country. The Speaker thanked the team for the invitation, commended them on the initiative, and both the leadership and the people of Northern Bahr Ghazal for maintaining peace and security within the state.
The head of the committee, Akonding Angok, doubling as State General Education Minister, highlighted the objectives of upcoming conference expected to address challenges affecting food productivity.
The conference that is intended to be conducted is mainly based on peace and security. The peace and security of Northern Bahr Ghazal people and beyond, the neighbors of Northern Bahr Ghazal, and given the current context of the war in Sudan, has also triggered that the community has to discuss the security issues and the peace.
Security reports have indicated the relative peace and security nationwide. This follows a meeting between the Presidential Advisor on National Security Affairs, Madun Tiel, and the Acting Minister of Interior, Mangar Bong. The two officials explored maintaining security and political stability for the overall well-being of the South Sudanese people. Security Advisor Yel commended the efforts being exerted by security organs, assuring them of the leadership's continued support to enhancing peace and stability in the country. Government and the United Nations mission in South Sudan have reaffirmed their commitment to a stronger partnership. This comes during a high-level forum in Juba to address the country's ongoing political and humanitarian challenges. Abraham Felix reports.
Senior government officials and the United Nations mission in South Sudan to UNMISS convened a high-level forum to strengthen collaboration. The meeting was chaired by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mande Simaya Kumba, and Anita Keki, the acting special representative of the UN Secretary General. The discussion focused on strategic ways to enhance cooperation between the government and the United Nations. Both leaders emphasized the importance of partnership in tackling the challenges facing the country. In a separate development, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mande Simaya Kumba, held a meeting with the South African ambassador to South Sudan, Mahlodi Murphy, in Juba on Wednesday. The meeting focused on enhancing collaboration in the fields of agriculture, education, and science and technology. Minister Kumba used the opportunity to reaffirm the government's unwavering commitment to strengthening the bilateral relationship with South Africa. Ambassador Mahlodi highlighted the concrete economic outcomes expected from this partnership.
We also agreed that business-to-business cooperation between South Africa and South Sudan has got to be ramped up such that we have agreed that Minister Kumba would invite our minister in South Africa, Minister Pax Tau, to come to South Sudan with business people in South Africa so that they can come and interact with business people here in South Sudan.
The meeting underscored a strategic move to leverage South Africa's advanced expertise for South Sudan national development, fostering knowledge transfer and creating new avenues for economic investment. Abraham Felix, SSBC.
And now we are taking a short break. Stay with us. We shall be back with more stories after the break. Welcome back from that short break. The Association of Media Development in South Sudan, AMDIS, has expressed dissatisfaction with the manner the media is covering the ongoing court proceeding of the Nasser incident accused Port Kang and 7 others. AMDIS chairperson Aya Irene was speaking following a meeting with the Minister of Information, Communication Technology and Postal Services on how best AMDIS could help address challenges facing media in covering court cases.
Observing through the reporting of the court since the court started, we have seen a lot of challenges from the media side, that is from the journalist side, whereby we have seen cases to do with lack of professionalism. And we realize and we acknowledge that because there is a gap in skills on court reporting, because South Sudanese journalists have never gone through training on court reporting. So this is going to be a very important training.
In Angolan city of Luanda at the ministerial sessions, financing Africa's single energy market and integrated cross-border bankable railway network continue to dominate discussion at the ongoing high-level summit on financing for infrastructure development in Africa, with the stakeholders calling of implementation of continental energy programs essential for reducing electricity cost and developing sorts of strategies to promote economic growth across Africa. The World Bank officials highlighted the importance of deepening cooperation with African nations in supporting railways initiatives to ease mobility and advance interstate connectivity, bridging disparities in the continent's transport sector. The South Sudan Women in Aviation Association is encouraging women to join the aviation sector to safeguard their interests and uplift technical aviation capabilities. This comes during the 3rd annual Empowering Women Conference. Adore Barnabas reports.
At its 3rd annual conference held in Juba, the South Sudan Women in Aviation Association initiated initiative focused on empowering women in the aviation sector, encourage women to pursue a career in aviation to protect their professional ambition. The governor of Central Equatorial State, Rabbi Mojung Emmanuel, pledges his support for empowering women to join the aviation industry, particularly in piloting, engineering, and air traffic control roles.
South Sudan continues to advance policies that encourages women's participation in leadership, education, and technical professions.
The governor of Bank of South Sudan, Dr. Addis Ababa, also said the women in aviation play a key role in promoting gender balance and representation in the sector.
Because when women rise at the state aviation sector, we soar higher. As women lead, institutions become stronger. As women, when they empower, the nation will be transformed.
The chair lady of Women in Aviation Association, Apiu Demowe, says the initiative remains for encouraging women equal participation in the aviation sector.
Our responsibility is to translate global commitments into tangible actions to ensure that young girls see aviation not just as a distant dream, but as an accessible career. To create inclusive systems where talents are not defined by gender, age.
Meanwhile, the Lafa Abib, the Director for Cooperative Affairs at South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority, reaffirmed women empowerment remain a top priority in the country.
We would like to see to it that we have more women pilots, more women in air navigation services, in safety, and more women taking role as operators and generally.
The Aviation Authority serves as the country's license with the other regional aviation body and continues to participate in the regional aviation programs. Reporting for SSBC News, Amadou Barnabas.
Unity State SPLM Chairperson Governor Riek Biam Top pledges prioritizing peace to foster development. Governor Biam stated this following a meeting with the SPLM Secretary General Professor Paul Logale Jumi in Juba, where he presented a report on the general situation in the state. Governor Top highlighted key achievements, including successful mobilization campaigns to bring back SPLM members and a disarmament exercise, which he described as a major step towards peace and stability under SPLM leadership.
We have done a lot of activities in the state, including mobilization of the SPLM members. And we have mobilized a good number of our people for the last 1 year now. And the peace that we have been disseminating in all counties of Unity State. And we had a successful disarmament in one of the counties, Mayom counties. The SPLM is also working hard to make sure the people who have been affected by flooding can also go to good life by extending the dikes so that we have a space for our people to settle in the state. And we are also working to connect the roads, maintaining the roads.
The Chief of Defense Force General Paul Nang Majuk directs the SSPDF to protect the country's territorial integrity. General Majuk was addressing General Parade at the SSPDF headquarters in Juba on Wednesday, instructing all SSPDF to maintain security stability across the country. General Majuk bans carrying harmful objects, including machetes, in public places.
أنا نادلكم الليلة عشان نجي كلمة شكر لسيد رئيس الجمهورية وقائد العام لجيش دفاع جنوب السودان بالنسبة للتعيين بتاعتي نمرة 2 عشان نكون قائد بتاعكم. فده نجي نديو كلمة شكر ووجود بتاعكم كلكم. فده نقول لكم إنه المسؤولية بتاعنا نحن كجيش للدفاع بتاع الدولة، والدولة ده بندافعه بحاجات بتاعته كل الموجودين فوقه. الموجودين في الدولة ده الممتلكات والناس الموجودين في الدولة والأرض. ده مسؤولية بتاعنا الأول. مسؤولية ثاني لازم ندافع الدستور. الدستور بتاع جنوب السودان بقول شنو وبقول شنو. يبقى نحن عشان ندافع الدستور أي زول اللي بطلع ضد الدستور ده مسؤولية بتاعنا عشان نحن نتعامل معه. ده مسؤولية نمرة 2. مسؤولية نمرة 3 نحن ندافع عن القيادة بتاع الدولة، والقيادة بتاع الدولة ده بتمثل في منو؟ بتمثل في الرئيس. يبقى مسؤولية بتاع الدفاع.
South Sudan joins the international community in celebrating the Global Hand Washing Day, underscoring the need to maintain hygiene by frequent hands washing. SSBC Isaac Ludoro reports.
The first Global Hand Washing Day was celebrated on 15th October 2008 when the United Nations General Assembly declared the occasion an annual reminder for upholding proper hand washing with soap around the world. This day is also intended for community participation in personal and environmental hygiene. Speaking at the celebration in Juba on Tuesday, the acting undersecretary in the Ministry of Water, Resource and Irrigation, Alex Leakey, emphasizes the need to wash hands regularly with clean, safe water and soap.
Teach the children to decide in their house. Wash your hands after you have entered the latrine. Wash your hands after interaction with your colleagues in the school. You need to wash your hands. This is for our safety.
According to Albert Elozai, Director for Rural Water, Sanitation and Hygiene, poor hygiene increases the risk of contracting and spreading infectious disease.
The impact of this hand washing is so great. You very well know we have a number of new infections coming up. Red eye is there, Ebola has been around. So all this requires our hand to be clean. And that's why we are emphasizing that we should have our hand clean by washing with the safe, clean hands.
UNICEF representative Elkad Eli says young children remain at risk of spreading disease for lack of adequate wash facilities, especially in schools.
Globally, young children continue to bear the heaviest burden of illness that stem from inadequate water, sanitation, and hygiene. In South Sudan, where hygiene infrastructure remains fragile, where schools, health facilities, and communities still face significant challenges in ensuring reliable hand washing facilities, the stake is very high.
Officials from the World Bank Group say the bank will collaborate with the government in promoting good public hygiene.
We know in South Sudan over 60% of our populations are practicing open defecation, and almost less than 40% of households have year-round access to at least basic drinking water. With this big challenge, we are likely to see a number of diseases affect our populations.
The annual event brought together government officials, school children, and representatives from development partners. Isaac Ludor Emmanuel, SSBC News.
The ongoing effort to shape South Sudan's new constitution saw a significant step. The National Constitutional Review Commission held key consultations in Chuaibet County, Lake States, with local officials and citizens to gather vital input for the foundational document. Stewart Abugo has more in the following report.
The National Constitutional Review Commission delegation currently in Chuaibet County, where they were officially welcomed by Acting Commissioner Peter Mabor. Mabor expressed his strong support for the commission work.
The constitution that is going to be drafted this time
I hope will bear the name of Chaibet and the ideas of the people of Chaibet County.
The NCRC team leader, Ton Chagai, reaffirmed the NCRC commitment, announcing plans to expand the constitutional consultation process to the other counties within Lake states.
We have actually met the youth group, and we are still pushing to meet with the women groups and the chief. We are very thankful for the coordination and support given to us by the state government.
The National Constitutional Review Commission team held extensive consultative meetings with chiefs, women groups, and faith-based leaders in the area. The discussion yielded a series of high-priority recommendations reflecting deep public concern. Among the key proposals put forward, a strong demand for the government to determine fixed and standardized prices for essential goods to combat inflation, a call to limit the executive branch to one vice president who must be elected rather than appointed, the urgent need for a specific law governing cattle movement to prevent them from destroying agricultural crops, the proposal to increase the women quota in political bodies from the current 25% to 40%, a mandate that all appointed positions, including governors, members of parliament, and commissioners, should be subject to a contested election process, a clear call for disarmament across the country to stabilize security, a strict time limit for the president to ensure democratic transitions, the firm suggestion that land must ultimately belong to the government to standardize tenure and resolve disputes. The consistency of these demands across various groups underscores a national desire for a stronger democratic accountability and economic security built into the new constitutional framework. For SSBC News, Stewart Abugola.
The visiting South Korea volunteer Laseo Jint donated humanitarian aid, including medicines to 45 leprosy patients at Father John Leo Leprosy Clinic in Juba. Mario Suleiman reports.
The South Korean volunteer La Seon-jin is in solidarity with the leprosy patients' living conditions and carried out relief work. He provided massage and helpful tapping patients suffering from the physical disabilities and poor visions to improve mobility besides basic health checkups.
He started this program in Itoin, Warap State. Then from there, he started expanding it to some parts of South Sudan. Like here now we're in Rurokwe, which is in Juba. Also I heard we have another branch in Bor. And this work really, we are so happy because we are helping our people.
Leprosy patients express thanks and gratitude to government for coordinating medical and humanitarian aid with Korean associations, South Sudan and Father John Lee Leprosy Clinic. The visiting Korean volunteer La Seon-jin appreciates the government cooperation and coordination for the success of the mission. Meanwhile, the president of the Korean associations in South Sudan, Ki-Shun Kim, reaffirms the association's commitment to continue providing medical and humanitarian aid to the needy in South Sudan. Father John Lee Leprosy Clinics was established in 2020 to provide medical support and daily care for leprosy patients. The clinic is reflections on the life and service of Father John Lee Tai-Syuk, a Korean priest and physician who devoted his life to the disabled persons in South Sudan. For SSBC News.
And that story finally brings us to the end of our 1 p.m. news. On behalf of the team, I am Akuch Maker, and we thank you for joining us. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the programs coming up.